We haven't thought about anything.
Yeah. So
Like,
this is new. The other guy on the line is Solo, and this is the Noob and Solo Talk Anime Podcast, episode 18. So for this, what do you want to talk about, Solo?
I don't want to talk about anything.
Well, there's plenty to talk about. You know, we are in the spring season 2022. I already talked. I made a whole video talking about anime I'm looking forward to this season. But what are you specifically planning on watching this season?
Yeah, and we also did that together privately, went through the list, and I told you it all looked like shit, and I wasn't going to watch any of it.
But we both know you're gonna be watching quite a bit of it.
I'm
Like,
not watching any of it.
Huh?
I'm only going to watch. The only anime I want to watch is My Hero when it comes back. And wait, did you hear they announced Attack on Titan, the part 3 of the end? They're continuing it to 2023. It was supposed to be the final. It's the final season, part 3.
I don't know. Attack on Titan's kind of overrated in my opinion.
Part 3.
Like I was over Attack on Titan quite a while ago.
The only reason you got over it is because they didn't release it consistently enough.
Yeah, I mean, when you
went back and
4 or
watched
5 years between like season 2 and season 3, I was like, that's like an eternity in anime. That's like an eternity. We had like multiple seasons of other shows going on during that time.
Yeah, well,
yeah. I'm looking for the new stuff for this current season in Crunchyroll's new list. How do you feel about Crunchyroll's new layout? Have you seen it yet?
No, I haven't.
All right, go to like it's like beta.crunchyroll.com. That's the new Crunchyroll. It's pretty awful.
This just looks like old Crunchyroll.
Oh
wait, try beta. Is that it?
Yeah, I added the username and password to the 1Password.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen this. It's pretty. I mean, who cares? I mean, I don't even use Crunchyroll. I didn't use Crunchyroll. I've been using Funimation. I stopped using.
Well,
Crunchyroll.
Funimation no longer exists. Everything's going to Crunchyroll.
Yeah, I had to resubscribe to them, but I haven't used it, and I've tried using it on my TV, but the TV application doesn't work half the time. And then I tried using it on the Xbox, but the Xbox application doesn't work right half the time. And like the searching functionality is broken. Like it's terrible.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it's better in a browser, and it's the reason why I've been watching everything in like on the computer rather than on my TV. I think that's how we're gonna have to watch anime going forward. Man.
Yeah, well, I'm glad I don't watch anime.
Well, no, like yeah, there's a few things coming out in this new season that I know you're definitely gonna be wanting to watch. I covered a lot of it in the last video I made, but I'm looking for it on here. It's so hard to navigate this new Crunchyroll site.
Why are you looking at Crunchyroll's site? Why don't you use like the actual link from that other site, which is like way better? It should be in the bookmarks on the Google.
Is it under?
Go to the Talk Anime and then the anime chart. Yeah, anime chart.
Actually, yeah, Gaiguk, I don't know how to pronounce the name. He actually used this in the last one when he was one of his previous videos where he was covering a lot of this new stuff coming out.
Well, the chart's way better because it shows the platforms it's available on, and then it shows the English and Japanese for lame. It shows how long. Like it's just a better format.
Yeah. You had it linked specifically to spring 2020.
That's when we were looking at it last. Just hit the arrow and go to whatever year we're in now.
All right. So I mean, I already know that you fully intend to watch season 2 of Rising of the Shield Hero.
And Bleach is the only thing. I haven't watched any of Rising of the Shield Hero, and I don't plan to.
Well, let's be real. You're gonna watch season 1 of Rising.
Okay, I have watched like a couple episodes, but I dropped it because It's terrible because for one, I don't like fantasy. For two, I don't like fucking any type of cat girl or fucking whatever animal girls. I'm tired of
She's
them.
like part like I think raccoon or something.
Whatever. Yeah, they suck.
Oh
I know
no, it's
you.
like
And
Tanuki
then
or
also, I mean, the whole shonen anime shit's just. I'm over it. I'm kind of over it. We have enough
you're the
shonen
one
anime.
talking about Bleach and like Attack on Titan.
Attack on Titan is not even a shonen anime
That's
anymore.
shonen. That is straight up shonen.
It's really not.
Yes, it is. Yes,
I
it
would
is.
say no. It's really not. It has nothing in common with shonen.
No, it doesn't have a lot of the shonen tropes, but it is just pure shonen anime. Like shonen.
I would say it has the potential to have been a shonen anime, but that especially like the last season or two, it's a completely different genre of anime. There's no shonen anime that even comes close to the level like most like adult focused anime don't get as serious or as dramatic as like the final season and like the like what the message is of like Attack on Titan. Like it's completely different. You haven't even watched it. It's like a completely different genre show.
I watched Attack on Titan up to a certain point. Like I said, I just kind of dropped it because I had to.
Yeah, if you watch season 4 is a different genre than the rest of the other 3 seasons.
That doesn't change the fact that it's still shonen.
I would say
shonen has multiple genres within it.
I would say season 3 is the death of the shonen protagonist arc. The death of shonen arc.
The death
Because
of
then
shonen. Is he still an edgelord?
What do you mean?
Is Eren still like, your edgelord, overpowered, unstoppable protagonist?
No.
Well, is Mikasa still best girl?
No, because she cuts her hair. You've seen it.
That doesn't change the fact that she's still best girl. I mean,
she looks ugly.
Huh?
She looks way uglier with shorter hair.
You know what? Let me look her up.
Her attraction level goes from like high to low.
There's no way they would take, like some serious waifu material like her and just make her unattractive. Oh, hell, they did.
Yeah, she's way worse.
Like, why did they do this? Like,
I don't know. It's one of the worst like time skip. People like a clown on like Naruto time skips and like how like those characters. Some of them look a lot uglier, but like this is a whole different level of
like she doesn't even look like she's the same gender anymore.
Yeah.
Oh man, like wow. So that's more of a reason for me not to watch Attack on Titan.
So now I think best mom, or it's Eren's mom, is the best girl. Is what I was saying.
I thought Eren's mom is dead. Didn't she like die in like the first episode?
Yeah, but she's pretty hot.
Yeah, before she died.
Yeah.
Like to be best girl, I think you have to live for more than one episode.
She lives
that should be like a requirement.
No, flashbacks. You're telling wait, you're trying to say the best girl can't be a flashback only character?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
I would disagree heavily. Some of the best girls in anime are flashback only characters.
Like who? Like fucking who?
Fucking the Ghost Girl and Demon Slayer?
Oh, you mean I play as her like exclusively in the game. And
exactly, which means that she's the best girl to you. So
no. How does any girl in Demon Slayer top Shinobu?
Shinobu fucking sucks.
No.
Did you ever watch season 3 of or what season? Whatever season they're on, season 2, season 3, whatever season it is of Demon Slayer.
Actually, I just started watching. It's season 2. I just started watching it. I mean, honestly, I was like kind of turned off by watching because I thought it was just going to recap the movie.
It does. Did you skip that arc?
Yeah, like when I realized you could skip over that and get to like the new stuff. I just went and skipped over the movie recap stuff. So I'm still in the process of watching that. I would watch the movie recap stuff, but I feel like it was lazy of them to do that to begin with.
Well, did you watch the first episode at least?
No, I skipped over.
It's not a movie recap though. It was good.
I may go back and watch it.
because it's kind of what fucking what's his name? Ron. I'm gonna try to what's his name? The sun or the fire Hashira.
Rengoku.
Rengoku. I've been watching so much Bleach, so I wanted to say Ron Geku or
Rangiku.
I was trying to confuse their names.
They look completely different.
Yeah, but their names are like the same name.
Oh man.
But yeah, like that is yeah, it's like a prequel though to the movie, and it's worth watching because you get to see more of him, and he's the best character in the show, and they killed him in the first season.
I mean, I would argue that Zenitsu is the best character in the show.
Zenitsu fucking sucks, and
no,
I've read the
but that's
manga,
like
and
the thing is
story
usually
sucks.
when you make an overpowered character, usually it's the main character, and usually he's like an overbearing, like all too optimistic, jackass. But Zenitsu, he's like overpowered, and he doesn't realize it, and he spends most of the time just completely scared. That to me is pretty awesome. It's like
It's not. It's like I've seen that trope. The character that's
like,
a
no,
pussy,
you have
then they're
not seen that
strong.
trope. Name
I
one other
have
time you
seen
saw
that trope.
an overpowered character who doesn't realize just how overpowered he is because he's always asleep when he does the overpowered crap.
Drunk Rock Lee.
I mean, Rock Lee, he's overpowered even when he's not drunk, though. He still
Yeah, but
has
like I'm
the
saying, that
ability.
was the same thing.
I would argue that Rock Lee is not even on Zenitsu's level.
Yeah, because the Rock Lee thing was funny. Like, remember when he pretended to be like asleep in that fight with what's his name, and then he like beat the shit out of him. That was so funny.
Yeah, but Zenitsu dresses up as a girl. I think that's funny.
Listen, that the Entertainment District arc's good at the end, but the beginning part where they dress up as girls is pretty lame.
I thought it was pretty awesome, and
I mean,
it goes to show that Zenitsu, he not only is he best boy, but he is a contender for best girl now.
The problem I have with Demon Slayer is that I think Tanjiro is the worst character.
No, Tanjiro is one of the few main characters in a shonen anime that I can actually tolerate.
Listen, I was kind of like not into Demon Slayer, then I got really into it, and then I read all the manga, and I've had time to reflect on it, and I've reread things. And yeah, Tanjiro is just a pointless, boring character, and it could have been anyone else.
No, Tanjiro, he's likable. Like he isn't as overbearing as like, a character like Midoriya or Naruto. He's he's a little bit more grounded in his expectations. I think Tanjiro's a pretty awesome character. I generally don't like most shonen characters because I'm like, man, I just wish they could get slapped with a dose of reality and like, feel what it's like just for a second to know what it's like to be powerless or something. Because, most...
That's like an entire arc of every shonen anime that lasts long enough has an arc where that's the entire
and the thing is, another thing too is Tanjiro genuinely had to work from beginning to end to get to where he was. Naruto, he wasn't like, blessed with like, like parents who would just place like a 9-tailed fox inside of their stomach, or, given the most powerful like superpower on the planet just because he accidentally discovered somebody's secret identity. Tanjiro had to work. And that
Tanjiro, makes his father just happened to know the most powerful technique of all Demon Slayer and taught him for like 10 years, and then he just happened to stumble across like one of the greatest water style users in like the entire world, and trained by him exclusively. Then he got divine intervention, literally with additional training from literal Ghost, and
How's getting trained from Ghost divine intervention? Divine intervention
Because
implies that he got
God
trained
brought
by
the
a
ghost.
god or something.
God brought the ghost back. Ghosts
No,
They never
no.
explain the ghost in Demon Slayer, in the manga, anywhere. They don't. There's no ghost in the Demon Slayer universe or lore. They don't exist. Demons were created. But
I mean,
I don't
if
wanna
if you
spoil
live
the
in a
manga.
world where demons exist, of course
No,
ghosts are gonna exist.
demons. Basically, this is a spoiler for the manga, but basically, demons are a virus that were created because of Muzan. Like that's it. It's a virus that like was developed in him and mutated and then formed into other people. So it's not anything magical. It's not necessarily. I mean, it's like magical, like sciencey, but it's like a medical thing. It's like it's not a mystical religious thing.
Well, like
Like the ghost thing
it's
is like
basically
actually
mystical. We have
paranormal.
not had, humanity's been around
Okay,
for
so
what, like a
zombie
billion years
story.
or something.
They're less
We don't
demons.
have any demon
They're
diseases.
more zombies, like bro. Like they're basically zombies. Like are fucking is The Walking Dead a fucking like mystical fucking no? It's zombies, bro. These demons are basically zombies
Have
with
you seen like
intelligence.
like characters like Rui or
Vampires.
something and like Walking Dead? No, that's mystical stuff. So I would
No,
say, yeah, if you live in a world where you have like what I would consider magical demons, not scientific demons, then you can have ghosts.
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
They're not fully explained.
yeah, and not to mention like
Again, that's divine intervention.
hmm.
Whatever God is at play allowed those spirits to be resurrected and born there. So
Well, you if you're going to say that that's divine intervention, then you could say Muzan becoming a demon in the first place is like divine intervention. He
it
should have just
was.
died.
It was.
Yeah. So I mean, when you have two gods working against each other, it cancels each other out, and you basically have just a main character that just worked really hard.
He didn't work hard.
Yes, he did. He put in the work. How long did he train
Well,
for?
but here's the thing.
He trained with like a Rokudai for like what, like a year, 1 or 2 years.
But here's the thing. He also never wins a fight in the entire series by himself.
Is that true?
Yes, even up to the end of the manga.
I is that true?
Yes.
And it actually might be.
I mean, the whole point. I mean, the whole point is he relies on other people, which is
Well, no, that's in my opinion, that's a good trait to have, is like being able to rely on other people. It's better than being so overpowered that every other character in your show becomes pointless.
Yeah, but you should be so powerful that like when the time comes for you to defend your friends, that you alone should have the power because you worked hard to achieve it. Like in One Piece, like when Luffy's friends are about to die in front of him, he doesn't just say, "Oh, somebody help me." No, he like actually wins the battle for them.
Well, that's because Luffy falls into that same category of ridiculously overpowered protagonist for no reason. It's irritating because what's the point of having those other characters in the show if your main character is so overpowered that he doesn't need them?
Because he can't take on. He can win any 1v1 fight, but like if there's like 3v1, you have to have at least two other buddies to help.
If there's 3v1, he's still going to win. He's still going to win because you know why? Main character in Shonen syndrome. That's what. And
there's been plenty of arcs where they've lost. Like again, that's what makes it a shonen, is that like they don't always win. I mean, there's an arc like that. That's why Attack on Titan is so good, though, because Attack on Titan doesn't have any of that. Attack on Titan, it completely changes from. You don't even know what Eren is. Is he the protagonist? Is he the antagonist? Is he the hero? Is he like the bad guy? Is he both? Is he none? And you like, there's no answer to that. You have to decide as the audience member, which makes it.
Yeah, if you as the audience member are having to decide that, I would argue that's bad writing.
No, it makes it not a shonen. That's what I'm saying. Like it doesn't follow that whole shonen protagonist. That's why he is the best shonen protagonist. If not for being a shonen, he's the best protagonist, but he's not.
No, you were right about the shonen protagonist part. I will agree with you on that. He's definitely a shonen protagonist. Now, whether he's the best one or not, I'm still going to argue. Like both Tanjiro from Demon Slayer and then Asta from like Black Clover. Those are, in my opinion, the best shonen protagonists because they both had to put in like a lot of work to get where they are. They weren't gifted with like destiny or ridiculously overpowered quirk or like whatever. I mean, just take whatever shonen show you can think of, and think about how, like, they try to portray the character as an underdog when he is more privileged than every other character in the show. That's all shonen, like, including Attack on Titan.
The only thing that Attack on Titan even resembles shonen type of, I mean, it's just because it has that demographic, you can call it the shonen. But like, as far as it's definitely much more mature, and like the theming of it goes way beyond that of most shonen.
I will give you that.
It doesn't even have fighting like shonen does. Like the fighting in Attack on Titan is completely different style to like most shonen fights.
Well, like you could say that about a lot of other shonen too. Like Food Wars is shonen, and it doesn't have fights. It has cooking competitions. Like Dr. Stone is shonen, and it doesn't.
Dr. Stone is dog shit.
Huh? Did you say Dr. Stone is dog shit?
Dr. Stone is dog shit.
No. Dr. Stone was a hidden gem that I wish more people had talked about when that first season and the second season came out. Dr. Stone, when it comes back, mark my words, it is going to rock the entire industry.
Listen, Death Note was also like published by Shonen.
Yeah,
but it's like it's not like.
Are you gonna say like Well,
here's the thing: when we call something shonen, like we're in America, a lot of time we're not talking about it being a demographic. We're talking about it as like beyond, like what the genre represents.
I'm like, yeah, I get that it's a demographic, but I'm referring to it more in like
the other way. And that's the thing. Shonen's not a genre; it's a demographic. So I know it's a
demographic, but you know what I mean when I'm referring to shonen.
Yeah, and I would say no, Death Note's not part of that, and no, Attack on Titan is not a part of that. It's not like the typical battle.
Are you saying that you don't consider Light or like Eren to be overpowered protagonists?
I would say if they're anti-heroes, then no. And if the point of the story isn't about like, it's not the shonen trope type of anime. If it breaks the tropes enough, I would say it's not even and the style of the anime is not even the same, like pacing or formula, then it's completely different.
Well, in that case, you could say that about any other genre. You could say any harem anime that breaks the tropes enough, you can't even call a harem anymore. It's just a show with multiple female characters.
Let's define shonen as a demographic from Dragon Ball shonen. Like if we're talking about like a Dragon Ball shonen, that's what I'm talking about when I talk any anime that has similarities to the pacing and format of Dragon Ball, specifically Dragon Ball Z. Whereas there are battles that occur, and then the characters have fights, and then they get more powerful.
Tournament arcs.
That's what I'm saying. Like that is like our modern one. You're saying shonen. That's how I would define it. And like, at least
we would just call this the new shonen. Well, we'll call it the new shonen. The shonen that wants to like break the walls of traditional shonen. So it still has.
I don't think we should talk about shonen that as makes it a shonen,
though. Which is the overpowered.
I think we're being ignorant Americans by calling it. I don't think we should even use the term shonen anymore. We should call it. It's not the same.
Let's just start a new genre that's called overpowered, annoying ass protagonist.
I'm saying, like, when you have to work for a thing in his life. I know what you're talking about, because isekai is a genre that you can define. Shonen is not a genre.
No, isekai is like literally it just means another world. But inside of isekai, you could have any other show. Like you could pick inside of isekai.
Yes. Oh, you're telling me something could have multiple genres? Oh my god.
No, I'm saying like.
Of course, a show can have multiple genres. It can be a supernatural thriller. It can
Yeah,
be
but an
only a
isekai at
thriller.
the end of the day, it's still an
Isekai.
isekai. You could have an isekai like through like a psychological thriller or whatever, but it's still an isekai. I mean, you could have like like a shonen food show, but it's still a shonen.
Again, I'm not kind of over this unless you're talking about it as the age demographic. This is going nowhere.
Wait. Well, I think at the very least, we can agree that Aaron is a terrible protagonist.
He is the best protagonist.
Here we go.
Titan is one of the best anime/mangas of all time.
I thought we had at least a common bit of agreement, but clearly we don't.
You haven't even watched the last 2 seasons or read the
You know
manga.
what? It'll be a long time before I do because I will not watch Attack on Titan until it's done. I will
and
go
it was
back and
supposed
finish.
literally it was supposed to be over like now, but there's still like 9 or 10 chapters they have to adapt, and a lot of people thought they were going to make a movie. But then they came out with this trailer a couple days ago where no, Attack on Titan, the final season, part 3. This is the first time in anime history that I recall that they ever had the audacity, maybe even television history, the audacity to call it the final season and then split it up into 3 sub-seasons.
Well, they've been doing that with a lot of shows lately, though.
Well,
Whether they call it part 1, 2, or 3 or not, they've been splitting up like anime, like to the point where like you have a season that'll run over what it seems like multiple seasons split up into parts. Though it's still technically one season. I don't know why. I mean, I think it's because of like the anime industry just being way underfunded and like all the production issues going on over there in Japan right now. So I mean, it's not the only show that's doing it. A lot of shows are doing it. Like I actually talked about it in that video I put out last week with 86. They had an entire season basically almost done and everything but the last episode, and then they waited like 3 or 4 months just to put out the last episode. Actually, it was probably longer than that. I don't know. So, and I think I'm trying to think. There were some other shows that did it too. I think My Hero has done it recently. Because haven't they been splitting up their seasons into multiple parts also?
No. Well, it's what I mean. Define because like it's complicated because like I don't know. Like I'm kind of a little disconnected from how TV shows in general are doing this lately versus like how anime is doing it. So like I know in kind of like a lot of American TV, they have like one season that's like 12, episodes, around 12, maybe they'll have a few more. And then like some type of shows are like that are like maybe on like like ABC or CBS or whatever those local stations are. Some of those shows go on for like 20 plus episodes, and they're like kind of like, isn't like The Flash like that, where it's like there's like 20 episodes per season or some crazy shit because it's like a regularly occurring show. So like I don't know, but like then the premium hardcore shows are like 12 episodes, and then obviously in anime we have like one-off animes that are being adapted and they don't know if they're going to be hit or miss. They start off as 12 episode animes, and if they really blow up in popularity like My Hero, they might extend it to like 16 plus episodes or whatever for like one season. I think what does My Hero do, like 20 now or something like that? And then like what you're talking about is they do have like a break, but it's not like they don't separate into parts necessarily. But like sometimes like if the show is like really going on a long time, like Attack on Titan, or I know The Walking Dead did this before, is they actually take like a series, instead of doing like 12 episodes, they'll extend it to 16, and they'll do like 8 in part 1, and then they'll have the break, and then they'll do 8 in part 2. That way you're consistently watching the show all year round where you never have a break. My Hero hasn't fully done that yet. My Hero just has it where they just do it every, I think, is it every season or every other season they're doing it now, it seems?
Yeah.
They took a break this season, right? There wasn't My Hero, was there? I don't remember when My Hero ended.
Let's see. I think the last season they put out was probably the last season you watched. That was like last year.
Yeah, so then they took like the winter season off, and
well,
then
they put out some OVAs during that time.
yeah, they've been doing OVAs, but OVAs are irrelevant trash that no one watches, and you only can even watch them on DVD. So a lot of times OVAs don't even end up on streaming services.
I mean, like, sometimes like the they'll release the actual ending of a show in an OVA though.
But it's not even an ending then.
No, yeah, it is. I mean, it's a canonical ending. Like that's how Urasuki ended.
Canonical what?
As in it is the canonical ending of the show.
No, that was based off of a light novel. Wasn't it?
What?
The ending of whatever show you were just talking about.
Urasuki?
Isn't that in the light novel?
No, like the OVA. Actually,
it's not an OVA. It's not an original video.
Yeah, you're right.
Whatever.
You're right. Yeah, right. It was covered in a light novel, I think. I mean, I'm not sure.
If it's covered material.
I mean, it was called an OVA on like Verve when I watched it. Like, I don't know, like a year or so ago.
Well, I mean, obviously there's loose, loose
even so, like My Hero's OVAs though, like, whether they're
but you can't even. A lot of times you can't even watch them. They're not part of like the season flow. They're not considered.
Oftentimes they will fit those OVAs within the season. Like they find those gaps because there's usually gaps in time between seasons where they can fit these OVAs.
Yeah, but they don't advertise it, and I never hear anyone watch it or hear about it at all. Like did you know One Punch Man has OVAs? You know, I mean, people I've known who've seen One Punch Man that have never even heard of the OVAs because they're like only on like DVDs, and you have to like go to a back ass where you have to go to fucking I love animetitties.com to watch it because like it's the only site that hosts it.
I mean, I'd probably be able to cite anyway. So,
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't. You have to. They don't make them easy to find sometimes. So, and I didn't know about My Hero having OVAs in between the season.
Yeah, those were
I lie. I did hear about it because I've watched a few of them, but.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I mean, they kind of sort of fit in timeline with where they were at in the show, but I mean, they did at least a better job of it than like a lot of the movies for like certain anime, like Bleach, or actually, Bleach in general. Like, wow, that's just a whole talk just by itself. But yeah, I think OVA
filler.
Huh?
It's 45% filler.
It's at least 45% filler. At least 45%.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't have a problem with OVAs. A lot of OVAs are just they're there to fill a gap, like so you're not waiting for new content from that show between seasons. And when Attack on Titan should have probably did more of it, considering they pit like half a decade between seasons. It's something else too where I have a hard time justifying trying to keep up with a show that isn't consistent, because what's the point in keeping up with a show when you have to go back and rewatch the last few seasons every time a new season comes out, because these seasons are coming out so far apart that you don't even remember where you left off at.
Well, that's why My Hero has like the first episode of every season like is some bullshit ass filler recap OVA episode where it's like, so here's everyone in class 1A. We have fucking what's her name who does the fucking gravity thing, and then they just have like a whole roster list of the entire cast of the anime and a recap of events loosely tied in a filler story. I actually earlier today I watched a filler episode of My Hero. That's the first episode of season 3, I think, or season 4 rather. It's the episode where it's like the photographer guy went to like the school. I was gonna rewatch part of season 4, and I like just had that like on autoplay because I've watched the ending of season 3, and then that autoplayed, and I watched that episode, and it was fucking dog shit. And I had it on in the background, but if I I remember when I first watched that episode, I was actually visibly pissed off that I had to waste my time watching that.
I didn't mind it.
We talked about it then too, and you said it was bullshit.
I mean, like. Maybe I was being a little too harsh on it, but
I mean, it's good if you hadn't watched anything in months.
Yeah, I mean, and I haven't watched anything in like months at that time. So, I mean, I didn't like looking back on it, it could have been worse.
Recap episodes in anime are fucking
No, I
awful.
don't like recaps in general, but sometimes they're just
And even if you cleverly hide the recap in an OVA story with OVA characters, it doesn't make it that much better.
well, it's still like better than like your typical recap, which is literally just like recapping the show like with like nothing other than a narrator giving context or something, or like actually not
I
even a
would
narrator
say
sometimes it's just like
what was
previous
it,
clips of the show spliced
the
together
Sword
or
Art
something.
Online movie that recaps the entire like first like what one or two season? Well, I think it was the first season. I think it's better to watch that than it is the whole anime
Why?
because it skips all the bullshit filler. Like if someone were to come to me right now and was like, "Oh, I want to watch Sword Art Online," I'd just tell them to watch that movie, the recap
No,
movie.
no.
Attack on Titan has recap movies too,
I
and you
mean,
can
I
watch the
you know what,
entire you
you
can
know
watch
what
the
though,
entire season in one movie.
I'll disagree with the Sword Art Online thing, but there is like some recap movies I've actually recommended to people over watching the show, like for Gundam, for instance. In Gundam they have like those recap movies on. I mean, they're on Netflix now, and I've actually recommended those to people looking to get into Gundam because I'm like, yeah, it's a great way to figure out if you are, because they split it up into three movies rather than trying to recap it all in
Yeah,
one movie. And it's a great way to gauge whether you're going to actually be interested in the show rather than watching the 40 something episodes the original Gundam is. Because there's some slow points in like all these shows. There's points where like literally nothing is happening, and I do like that the recap movie skips over that stuff. So I think a recap movie, if it's done well, it can be pretty good. I think just recap episodes though, they are there because there's just huge gaps between seasons. You know what's really annoying? When they put the recap episode in the middle of the season.
well, that they're just trying to fill time.
It's so annoying. Oh man, because especially when you're watching like like the seasonal anime week by week, you're looking forward to what's happening next. And to get to a point in the middle of the season where you're really just wanting to know what happens next, and then the entire episode is just recapping stuff you already watched. That's a week wasted. So you have to wait like 2 weeks between like episodes basically to get like
Well,
the continuation of the story.
here's the question, just on topic of what we're talking about. How many people like are going to come back to watch the Bleach final arc? Obviously, Bleach was a phenomena in the States. Not it died off in popularity in Japan, which is why the anime was canceled. I mean, and a lot of people attribute it to like a lot of filler. But now that the manga was finished, it's been finished for a long time. It blew up in the United States. It was a phenomena. Um, do you think people like talking about time gaps in anime? Like it's been like what 10 years, like since the end of one of the worst arcs, and it also is ending. Like that's another thing. When an anime ends on like a down spiral, like if the anime ends on like the worst season ever, and then there's a big long wait, you have nothing to look forward to. Like you really don't in Bleach. So do you think anyone's gonna come back? Especially like people that read the manga, obviously, and like that, like Bleach are gonna come back. But like regular people, like that maybe watched Bleach when it was out, finished it. Do you think any of them care enough to come back to watch it?
Yes.
Enough that
Um,
it's gonna be like, are we gonna get like a spin off about the kids or what?
I don't think it's gonna be
Do you
that
think
big or
Japan
anything.
will care?
Huh?
You think Japan will care?
I think Japan will care. It's harder to gauge in the states how many people are still going to care because we like people have moved on to My Hero, but um, Attack on Titan season. I mean, like like latest season of Attack on Titan has done really well, despite the fact that you had those huge gaps in time I was talking about earlier. I think Bleach
They only
is
had the
going.
big gap between what season 2 and 3.
It was enough for like a lot of people
It
to
was a
just.
4 year gap.
That's a long time.
Yeah, another anime that had a 4 year gap. One Punch Man. My problem
Well,
with
no,
One Punch
the
Man
thing is,
is that
you know why One Punch Man, like the time gaps in One Punch Man, at least for where
they
they're
changed
at right now, it
studios
doesn't matter.
too,
Yeah, like
which was
the
a big deal.
the reason why the time gaps in One Punch Man are like not as big of a deal right now where they're at is because it's still kind of like in that monster of the week type of scenario, and as far as where the story's at. The story for One Punch Man doesn't pick up until probably where they would start at in the next season. Where they're
One
at
Punch
currently.
Man is like always like that, even in the manga. Like
No,
there's
no, like
not
lately in the manga, it's
no
gotten really good. It's
there's
gotten really
still
good.
there's still laws between things happening.
I think like where they're at in the manga right now. If they had a huge gap at that point where they were telling a more epic story, because I think One Punch Man is like a show you were talking about earlier. It doesn't really change genres, but it changes the way it tells its story. It becomes like less of a weekly like a weekly action show, and it becomes more of like an epic.
But
So
do you think like I think probably a great example of this. Do you think Bleach has been gone for so long? Do you think it has the potential to pull like a Dragon Ball Super where it like inspires a whole new generation of fans? Because the thing is, I don't know how easy it is going to be going into because this is like Dragon Ball is special because like I feel like Dragon Ball almost you can watch it at different times and still get into it versus like something like Bleach. I feel like people that haven't watched everything up to the final arc, like if a kid like watching on like Toonami or whatever is watching the final arc of Bleach, are they going to be able to be like that into it? I mean, a lot of people found like a lot of
I
those
agree with you on that
animes
too, and I do think that because of that, like Bleach is not like
because
Dragon
I think
Ball,
I'm
to
pretty
where
sure
like
that's how
it
I
can
watched
reboot
Bleach.
itself every season.
Like
Bleach is
I
like a
remember
continuous story.
I'm pretty sure when I first watched Bleach, I remember not liking it at first because I think I did watch it on like Toonami at first or something, and I remember being really confused because like I had like there was just so much going on, and it did get me intrigued enough to eventually go back and watch it all and read the manga and stuff. But like, it's definitely not as easy to jump in as like other anime. I
I
would say.
think Bleach is easier to jump in later on than it is to watch from the beginning, though, because there's a lot of people who drop Bleach because of its first season. Its
Yeah,
first
but
season,
it
I think, is
really
good. Don't get me wrong. I think first season's good, but we've talked about this before. Bleach's first season is tonally completely different than the rest of the show.
yeah.
So it's probably better for a lot of fans to jump into Bleach later on, and then like they're curious about events that are getting referenced, or things that are happening they want to know about, or backstories on different characters, and then
I
they'll go
just
back and
worry
watch that
about
first
this
season.
final season though.
I think the final season is going to do pretty good. I think a lot of people will come back for
The
it.
final season might be the best part of Bleach.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
it
a
is
lot of
the
people.
best part of
I do
Bleach.
think a lot of people are going to come back for it. It's because Bleach, at the very
I think
least,
people are going to come back for it. I just don't know if it's going to generate new fans. That's the thing. That's the thing I would say. Like it's kind of
yeah, that's something I'm not even sure about either. I don't know if Bleach has that. Uh,
I don't know if it has the new generational appeal that like
yeah,
because like Dragon Ball Super. I feel like a lot of people got into it because maybe like they had like an older brother or cousin or even like their dad. Like that's how big of a difference between the end of Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super was. There was like people that like had kids that like grew up with their dad talking about how awesome Dragon Ball Z was and shit and wearing Dragon Ball Z's t-shirts around. And obviously the kid's going to want to get into it. A lot of kids did even get into Dragon Ball during that lull period, which is why they brought it back with Super, because there was a whole generation of like people that like never even remotely watched any of the any Dragon Ball GT or Z or anything while it was
if they
airing
didn't
at
watch
all.
Dragon Ball GT, then they're some lucky bastards.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
Uh,
like Dragon Ball GT, I mean, for what it was, I mean, it was definitely not good, but you know, It's
It had
still
good ideas in it. I thought Super Saiyan 4 was good, but yeah, I don't think Bleach is going to have like that same like what you were talking about wide appeal that Dragon Ball has. And also Dragon Ball benefited from the fact that it has just been around for so long and it's so
yeah.
ingrained into like
And they,
pop
they
culture. And
rebooted it like with like Dragon Ball Z Kai, which I'm still kind of wondering. I wonder if any other of the big shonens are going to do something like that eventually, where they condense the story. But I mean, I kind of wish Bleach would do that. Honestly, I think if anything, any anime needs to do is Bleach, is where they just
yeah,
like cut
get
out
rid
all.
of
It's like,
the Bounce
well,
arc. Yeah, that was terrible.
here's
Get
the
rid of that
problem with
Larichio arc.
like
Get rid of
Bleach really needs to do it, honestly, and I hope like it does it. Like for one, the older episodes need to be remastered in HD because it's annoying because they don't go HD until episode like 168. So, and if you skip fillers, it's like 190 of like the 360 episodes there are. So, like half the anime is not in HD, plus half the anime's filler, plus um another annoying thing is because the American version of Bleach, which I'm watching the English dub and the Japanese dub even does this, they kind of alternate, but basically they have like the episode's 25 minutes long and there's a 5 minute long recap because it was like designed to air on the show. Plus, it's an older anime, so it has like the commercial break built into the episode, which some streaming services try to cut it out. But basically it has a lot of like that old anime vibe to it where it has like the
Oh, you mean like those
recaps every
older episodes
episode.
of Dragon Ball Z where
Yeah, it
next
has
time on
it has
Dragon Ball
like the
Z.
long recaps at the beginning. It has the long recap or ending things, and then it has like the mid episode breaks. Like if they just got rid of all of that, condensed it, I think Bleach completely remade like that would be so fucking good. Because then you don't have any of this bullshit filler, and they completely cut out all the non-canon shit. Like, goddamn, that'd be amazing. It's
I
not gonna
agree
happen
with you.
though.
I think they should do that like either before this final season or probably don't have time to do that or after this
No.
final season to draw out like that's how you get new fans in is like make it
Well,
easier to
like
watch. Nobody
to
wants to go back and watch older stuff because they're used to watching stuff in
well,
like widescreen like
and
higher
here's the thing.
definition stuff.
After I watch Kai, I mean, I still have nostalgia for the original Dragon Ball Z, so like some of the music and some of the opening theme songs and things like that. But I don't think I'll ever rewatch Dragon Ball Z in its original form. Like, I'm not going to sit there and watch every episode. Like, if I wanted to rewatch Dragon Ball Z, I'd watch Kai like every single time because Kai is that much better to me.
Yeah, I agree too. The only thing I will say that I liked about the original more, and it's because of nostalgia, probably more than anything, was the voices. Like I remember specifically Vegeta's voice in some of the older
Yeah, like I
original
said, a lot of
episodes.
like the voices and like some of the music tracks during certain things. A lot of that, I know that's just nostalgia though, and
Yeah,
like,
I
but
mean
like,
I acknowledge
I
it's
think
nostalgia
Kai
too, but
has
it's
like a
because
very
of
good
that nostalgia
cast
that
and
I associated and stuff.
yeah, and it has good music. It has like a different vibe, but I think and they capture it and they make the story feel like it's like when you have a story of an anime without filler and the pacing is it's so much better because like that's another thing. The pacing of Dragon Ball is just so fucking slow sometimes. So fucking
Yeah,
slow.
I um I think Bleach, if Bleach does like decide to go that route, it will probably pick up a lot of new fans because Bleach has a lot of, um, if you're a shonen fan, there's a lot to love about Bleach, specifically Soul Society, the captains and stuff. I remember that Soul Society arc being one of my favorite arcs in anime. Like just the fights, the cool abilities, the awesome characters um, and like some epic moments and stuff. I think a lot of new fans would really gravitate towards that if um, they just make it more palatable to people used to current anime. So like a remastered release and higher definition, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of like I mean, we're kind of like in that aging period, I would say. I mean, it makes sense to do it now, especially if Bleach is successful, but it's just who wants to put the money to do it? Like who wants to allocate the funds to, you know, I don't
Yeah,
know if it's going to be that big because obviously the
You know
Japanese
what?
audience.
They may actually go ahead and do it depending on how well like this last season does. So for that reason, I'm hoping a lot of people go and check out this last season. I wasn't as willing to pick up Attack on Titan after that long break, and most of that was just on me. I just did not want to go back and recap.
I was
stuff
the
I'd watched,
same.
but
I was the same way as you, but I mean, Attack on Titan does have like a shit ton of recap movies which cover the seasons. Like if you need to get caught up quickly, which I appreciate, and then the new seasons, it's a completely different vibe and a completely different show. But it kind of like it was always going to be that show. It's just kind of disguised as a typical shonen anime at the beginning, which is what I always appreciated. And there's obviously moments in the earlier seasons where it's kind of like you can obviously tell this isn't going to go the way that you would expect the story to go because like people actually die. I mean, that's another thing the thing I think I hate the most about like most shonen animes is characters never die. Even rewatching Bleach now, like I love the Soul Society arc, but like one criticism I have after
is
rewatching
that
it,
Chad survived? Yeah, I wanted him to die too.
basically that not a single fucking person died. Like not a single like Soul Reaper died, not a single human. Like no one died in that interaction at all. Period. Which is like, I mean, it's okay or whatever. And even like into watching, I'm like right now I'm in the middle of them going to Waco Mundo and stuff like that. And obviously, though the Espada die, but they're kind of like hollows, and not all of them even die. Like I don't know. Like at least they're getting some of them are getting killed. But that's my biggest criticism of Soul Society. I wish like someone actually died. But then I guess the grudge would be it would be harder to like for them to all become friends if they fucking slaughtered one of the captains, right?
Yeah,
You couldn't just have them all be buddy Dory after the end of the arc.
they could have at least killed off Chad. I mean, my dude was worthless.
Yeah.
But I guess it seems like that that it seems to be where you're most looking forward to in this next season is just shonen shows. Is there nothing else in this newer season coming up outside of some shonen shows that you're actually looking
I
forward
told you
to?
the new season. I mean, it looks pretty terrible. Like, what season is this going to be? I don't even remember.
Spring,
Spring.
yeah. So spring
Um,
2022. And you got One Piece, which I know you're looking forward to that.
no,
Um,
I'm like 200 episodes behind in One Piece. I read the
really?
manga, so I read the manga.
Oh,
Like, I don't keep up with the anime very often. I like will binge it like when
I
there's a
mean,
shit ton of episodes.
even for stuff where I'm like caught up in the manga, I still like watching the anime.
There's
Even
just too much when there's one episode every week for fucking years. Like I'd rather binge watch it all at once.
All right, and then there's let's see. Did you watch the first season of Komi-san Can't Communicate?
No,
Uh, guess you're not looking forward to that. What about Boruto? Like,
nope.
I thought you were really into Boruto.
I'd read the manga.
Let's see. I can already tell from looking at the rest of this list that you're probably not looking forward to most of this. I mean, to be honest, I covered this entire list the other day, and I'm not looking forward to most of it.
Yeah, I watched the video. I
Mm.
mean, let's see. I'm looking. Let me look at the list one more time. Let's see. So, yeah, Boruto. I mean, I'm behind in the anime. It's doing things that are different than the manga. It's like okay. Um, One Piece, obviously typical. Rising the Shield Hero, refuse to watch.
No, no, no. I think there's a world. There's like a an
When
alternate
is
universe where you're gonna
Devil's a
watch
part
Rising the
timer?
Shield
Is
Hero.
that coming back?
Huh? What?
Devil's a part timer? Is that this season or next season?
I think that's next season. I have heard
Well,
that
I
it
want
is
to
getting a
watch
new
that,
season.
but
There's there's some good stuff. Like, what about some of the newer stuff? Like the not stuff that isn't a continuation of previous seasons, but just new shows. Did you get a chance to look at the descriptions for any of those? Because some of these newer shows do sound interesting.
I
Um,
mean, not really. These are all kind of.
No, it's like, did you read the description for Spy X Family? I think this is gonna be really good.
I've read the manga of that.
How did you like that?
I think it's the same show.
Yeah, I don't know much
Trying
about
to
it. I
see
just
if
know
it's the
what I read in
same.
the description, but it like, and I saw the trailer for it. It
Yeah,
was pretty good.
yeah. It's a pretty popular manga. I've read like the first like I think like the first like 10 episodes of it. I told you about it actually when it first came out.
Actually, I think I do remember you talking about
I
it.
told you about it's like one of the ones it was kind of like a rising star like it was a couple years ago and I read like the first few issues of it. I mean, it's okay. I didn't think it was anything to write home about, but maybe it gets better. Let me see it. Manga. Here's my concern of it. I'm looking at the manga for it, and it's looks like a 2 chapter a month releasing manga. So they're only at chapter 60. So I'm curious, like, if they're only going to do one season of this anime, I mean, how many chapters is that going to cover? And then like, you're going to have to wait 5 years for season two. You know, I mean, like, yeah, I don't know.
And you know what?
I get worried. I like it when like an anime like if they do an anime adaptation of a manga, I like it to be like a multiple 100 issue manga that is well established. That way I know if it does well, I'll have more seasons to look forward to pretty quickly. I always get worried when like a manga that's like new in the last couple years gets an anime adaptation because I always worry of like OVA content or long waits before
Well,
new
it could
seasons.
be like a manga that's like pretty short because the Demon Slayer manga really isn't all that long when you compare it to like its contemporaries like Bleach or Naruto or Dragon Ball and stuff.
Wait, Demon Slayer? Is that what you
Yeah,
said?
yeah.
Well, the problem I have with Demon Slayer is rushed. Like the whole manga is rushed. The story is for example, the Naruto pain arc is like the arc where the biggest tragedy happens and then Naruto has to like force himself to get stronger and like basically gets to that higher level and he earns it and like there's like a whole training session, there's like a whole like other things are happening. Like Demon Slayer doesn't have that arc. Demon Slayer just has like they're battling, like he becomes a demon slayer, and I know there's like time skips from when he like trained initially, but like in the later half, like where we're at now, like in the entertainment district, from there till the end of the series, it's like all over the course of days, and I don't think he's like at the level where he should be able to just become Hashira level overnight just from like 3 battles. I think he has,
You
but
know who
like
should become Hashira like from the beginning because he was Hashira level from episode 1? Zenitsu.
yeah, and then here's another problem. I mean, it's not a problem, but I guess there is like a Hashira in the show who is like a 7-year-old kid, but then he's like also a genetic dude. So I don't know. It's
I,
weird.
yeah, and you know what? Even in Naruto, you had characters that were like clearly
Geniuses.
like getting. I mean, like the like Jonin level and stuff. Like early on, like they were clearly higher level than what they like. Shikamaru, yeah, he definitely earned that the right to get that promotion early on. I think he was like the only one in that first tournament to get like promoted, right? Uh
Yeah.
Also, I would say like Neji. Neji, I feel like he was like above everybody else pretty early on as well. They neither of them were on like the levels of like a lot of the adult characters though.
Well, Neji
But
and Tamari are like the only people that become Joning in the time skip.
you know what? I feel like Neji by that point, especially considering where he started at, yeah, he probably earned it. Tamari was a little bit surprising. I never got a badass feel from her at all, at least in like, regular Naruto. Yeah, they all became a little bit more badass in Shippuden, but
But one of my favorite moments is where like Tamari's in the final battle against like Madara or whatever. She's like, I am the most powerful wind user. And then like Naruto shows up with the Rasengan like wind infused and fucking like just completely outclasses her in every way.
well,
I don't know. I don't know.
like but like I think if you're talking about normal wind users, yeah, she probably is the most powerful because Naruto is going back to what I said at the beginning of this talk, overpowered. He at no point ever was an underdog, and that was going back to the original point. My biggest problem with shonen anime in general is that I can't really root for these characters as an underdog when, like, Midoriya and My Hero, for instance. How do you consider him an underdog when he's given the most powerful quirk in the world from the very beginning?
So was All Might.
Yeah, and you know what?
And
All Might's pretty overpowered
but
too.
I'm saying,
So
but he like, it's not like, what's the old saying? It's not the power; it's what you do with it. And All
yeah,
Might, he might have
sometimes, but
gotten
you know what?
the most
Sometimes it's the
powerful
power.
thing.
Sometimes it's the power. Sometimes it is the power.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, the same thing with Naruto. Naruto could have used the Nine-Tailed Fox and became evil and killed like everyone.
Yes, and that would have been a far more interesting show. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Naruto.
Attack on Titan is so
I don't want to
good
sound like I hate Naruto. I love the show.
And
It's one
again,
of my favorite anime of all
I'm not
time.
gonna spoil Attack on Titan for you, but that's why Attack on Titan is so good, because he does that. He says, "Fuck it."
You know what? You're making me want to go back and watch Attack on Titan now.
You should.
Yeah, I think that's probably where I'm going to end this talk. Is I'm going to go and watch Attack on Titan after this.
Yeah, and then maybe we could actually have a legitimate podcast episode. I would love to talk about Attack on Titan, because that's something I actually want to talk about, because that show is worth talking about.
Yeah, I'll go back and watch Attack on Titan, and I guess we can come back later this year with a legitimate episode on Attack on Titan, where I'm probably not gonna be as enthusiastic about it as you are, but at the very least, from what you just described, it's probably a little bit more interesting than I was making it out to be. I liked Attack on Titan early on, though. Huh?
You have to. It's a completely different vibe. You just have to watch it, and like, it doesn't really pay off until the end. That's the problem. And now we have to wait till next year to get the ending. So you're gonna have to wait another year.
That brought me back to why I dropped Attack on Titan, because of the large skips between seasons.
It's 1 year, dude.
That's a long time. Do you know how many shows I'm gonna watch in that?
It's like 10 chapters. Just watch this anime, catch up, and then we'll read the last 10 chapters if you can't wait.
Yeah, you know what? I may just go ahead and pick up the manga and finish it there.
Well, here's another thing. There is also a major conspiracy with Attack on Titan, where a lot of anime fans are hoping that they change the ending, because I don't know if you remember, the manga ending was very divisive. I don't know. Basically, it divided the fan base, and like, a lot of people are praying to whatever anime god they worship, that it's going to have an alternate ending. But that would be pretty unprecedented for them to completely change the ending. Same thing with Bleach. There's these radical groups of these fans of these manga that are thinking, oh, the manga ending, that don't like the manga ending, that they're going to change it drastically in the anime. And it would be pretty ballsy to do that.
Sometimes I encourage it. Like I want them to do an original anime ending for Quintessential Quintuplets, because I hate the manga ending.
And the thing is, I mean, I guess it's not completely unprecedented that they changed the ending. But usually they only change the ending if the manga's not
wasn't
complete,
finished. Yeah, it's like Full Metal Alchemist.
They might add to it a little bit. But I mean, if they completely make it an alternative ending, that would be pretty ballsy.
Yeah, I think that sometimes an original anime ending can be a good thing. I don't think canon, for the sake of being canon, isn't all that necessary, as long as it's good. In some cases, manga endings just suck. So, man, but I guess we can wrap it up there for this little mini-sode. And next week, actually not next week, what do you think about for the next actual episode? Like 2 weeks out? That'll give you enough time to watch all of Danchi.
Listen, I still haven't even agreed to
So
do this
yeah, and
podcast at all.
in like 2 weeks we'll be releasing the next actual podcast episode where we will be covering
And here's
an
the thing,
anime that we said we were going to cover about a year ago.
and
Danchi.
here's the thing. I guess if you want, I'm not editing this. So if you want to like edit
I'll
it,
edit.
and if you send me the files, I'll upload it. And then anyone who gives a shit that listens to it, I mean, if they think it's shitty quality, it's not my fault. It's Noob's fault. Yeah, that's all I have to say. And I don't know. We'll do another episode.
Yeah,
eventually.
2 weeks when we cover Danchi Guy.
If I can find the time to watch that 30 minutes. I watched half of it, and
30 minutes to watch not just one episode, 30 minutes for all episodes of it. Like you could literally watch every episode of it in 30 minutes.
yeah, but I mean, come on. Yeah. I mean, I think we could maybe do a TikTok review of that instead. So follow Noob and Solo on TikTok. Or no, wait, is it just Talk Anime? It's just Talk Anime on TikTok. Yeah,
The
follow
link will
Talk
be in the
Anime on
description. Yeah. But yeah, we'll end this little mini-sode here. Tune back in 2 weeks when we cover Danchi Guy, like we said we were going to do about a year ago. All right, end it here. See ya.